Yo, movie mystics, what's up? How you doing? Hope you're having a nice day. Hope you're having a nice Friday. Yes, it's Friday. It's been a bit of a blur for me ever since getting back from Montreal, and I might be going back for one day, but we'll get there. I'll tell you about that in due time. I didn't realize actually this had 12 legs. That's pretty cool. Anyways, I just posted 12 reviews on my letterbox, and all these reviews are playing either at the New York Asian Film Festival, Fantasia Fest, or both. And I'll be telling you which plays where or played where. I have everything organized, man, with the tabs. I'm going to show you some pictures. And we're going to have a good time. I'm going to hang out with you guys for a little bit. 12 reviews is a lot, so I'm not going to be going through IMDb pictures. I'm just going to be doing it like this. Alright, so the first one is Killing Romance. It's from South Korea. Coming all the way from South Korea is Killing Romance, a movie that is a sugar high, but not too sweet, and an effective love story within a very entertaining time cohesively. That's not to say there weren't some bumps along the way, but the establishing of the story and the conclusion are lovely. So I felt like this was a fun experience at the movies. So a female actress and has been linking up with a rich guy in what becomes a loveless marriage, but then a superfan comes in into play, trying to scoop her up for the maniac husband. The whole thing is weird, but not as weird or certainly as annoying as some other Asian comedies. Personal note. And there is a relatable sense of things to underpin things nicely. But this movie is certainly quite bizarre. The music, color scheme, and ostriches all add the feeling of strangeness, but I found the main actors did their jobs nicely, so they will be what there is to be remembered, more so than the formal decisions, which is a good thing. Yeah, I'm getting memories of watching this movie, which was a little while ago, maybe a week or two ago. So this was the opening film of the New York Asian Film Festival. There they are. So that was July 14th. So I saw this before that. So July 14th, it was definitely, like 2 weeks ago. Crazy. Crazy. Fun movie. And so it opened there, and it is coming to Fantasia Fest next Friday, next week. So there you go. Coming up next is gonna be Manhole. Is that what it is? Yeah. Cool. Alright. Manhole, or hashtag Manhole, is a pretty damn fun Japanese movie that takes a guy and sticks him in a hole. Perhaps because he was a rapacious lover. Because he just fell in there. Or perhaps it was his idea all along. I love that scene in Kill Bill Volume 2 where the bride is buried alive. That was quite scary stuff. Or when Nicky gets buried with his dead brother and he himself has been beaten badly in Casino. So the idea of an entire movie being in the claustrophobic setting of a sewer in an unknown area where escape looks unlikely with the inherent mental damage that will follow and the harrowing physical circumstances is very cinematic. Dialogue is limited to speaking out loud, phone calls, as well as reading social media posts about the situation live, which is a fun dimension that comes in later with the inevitably deteriorating mental health. So all the drama is here, and the movie is fun, while also a bit gimmicky. Often the single-setting film is great for the budget, but there is not enough to look at, making interest dwindle at times. It is still mostly a lot of fun, though, and is paced for what it is quite well. So there you go. I'm, generous there. So that's Manhole, which played at the New York Asian Film Festival Sunday, July 16th, 10 p.m. at the Lincoln Center, bro. Iconic New York theater. So that's their write-up. Here's some more pictures. So I'm going to give you some pictures. I'll give you some. And it is coming to Fantasia Fest this upcoming Monday. Well, Oh, it played at the Berlin Alley and these other ones. And that's what that is. All right. We've got two more that played both festivals. And what are they? Excuse me. Excuse me for the frog voice. We got Mad Fates. I'm a Johnny Toe fan, despite his lack of consistency. It's always a special occasion to watch anything he has new attached to. So of course I watched Mad Fate, a crime movie which he produced. This movie is not cool or slick at all, like the election movies. It looks at the mental health impact of violence. I love cool violence in movies, and this sort of meditation on violence is important as well. If Clint Eastwood was going to make three cool violent westerns for Sergio Leone, years later he would have to go on to make the guilt-manifested western The Unforgiven, that movie's dedication says to Sergio and Don. That being Sergio Leone and Don Siegel, the directors of Clint's most memorably cool violent movies. Johnny Toe may not have The Unforgiven through Mad Fate, but the parallel is intriguing to ponder. Perhaps he does feel like he has some blood on his hands. The movie feels like a meditative piece of genre cinema because the violence is pure grisliness and never looks slick. It looks awful. What violence does to the mind is something I don't ever want to know, but maybe in Johnny Toe's case, the violence he has experienced has been in the editing room. Either way, the movie is good and certainly not cool. So that played last Saturday at the New York Asian Film Festival. Let's look at some pictures. See. Cray. Yeah, it's pretty good. And it is coming to Fantasia Fest. Ooh. August 3rd. See, this is their write-up. I'll play the Berlin Alley as well. Okay. There we go. What's next? What do we got? We're just going to plow through it, yo. Aha, yes. The White Storm 3, Heaven or Hell. Ebola Syndrome by Herman Howe is one of my favorite recent discoveries, and it opened the floodgate for my knowledge of the Cat 3 film. Needless to say, I was stoked with the opportunity to see Herman's latest movie on the big screen. The White Storm, Heaven or Hell is certainly a big screen experience, and I didn't think for a second that it would be anything too great. Being on a steady diet of Well Go USA movies, though, that doesn't bother me. The movie is about undercover cops busting a brutal drug dealer in Hong Kong. It has an awesome maximalist opening scene, then we jump back and forth in time till we get to the aftermath of the opening properly. The setup with the time jumps is quite cool, but once everything is established in order, the tropes settle in, and then eventually the movie wraps up with another cool, but not as cool opening maximalist set piece. Not as cool as the opening maximalist set piece. Right. Anthony Wan could have played the head gangster in this movie in the 90s, and perhaps the still intense, but not as intense as this pacing from the 90s would have been cool. This movie is no hard-boiled. It is a fun action movie, though, that starts off inspired and then ends decently. I was entertained mostly throughout, and lots of people get beat up. Okay. So, this played July 20th at the Lincoln Center. So cool. At 8:30. Oh, they lied to us. The lady at the Fantasia audience said we were the first ones to see this, and we saw it at 9:30, while those New York baddies, like badasses, got to see it an hour before us. Vicious lies. Okay. All right. That's enough. All right. That's what that is. And then, perhaps my favorite of the group, Mountain Onion, which I watched last night. Coming from Kazakhstan is Mountain Onion, a movie which got a good deal of hype for the New York Asian Film Festival itself. It's cool. They would center stage this one because it compelled me to watch it. The sheer volume of movies they sent me is so wonderful to scroll through, yet totally overwhelming. Having to narrow things down, I'm waiting for this one. And if you want a fun, mature family film, go for this one. It looks at being young in the country on the scale of being a child to a young adult. There's a lot of coming of age material such as tall tales, finding confidence, finding yourself, and learning to have a work ethic. The movie is not exactly raunchy, despite there being sexual things in here. It feels more a slice of life than trying to be edgy. It nearly presents people as they would talk and behave amongst themselves. It is certainly staged, but the filmmakers go for a feeling of naturalism, which really lands nicely. This one truly is for the whole family, and as there is edgy stuff in soft packaging, you will likely enjoy this one as I did. It feels like Italian neorealism in a way, too. Not much happens, but it does feel like an average day so it is not boring, and the characters are not dull. Some movies from this country have been dullers for me, but this one isn't. And yeah, now we're into New York Asian Film Festival exclusives. So this is playing tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. And yeah, check this one out. If you are in New York City, highly recommend it. And we'll look at some pictures. Yeah. Cute. Very cute movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yes. And now we move on to an older movie, which played at the New York Asian Film Festival, or was going to, called Nomad. Nomad is from the Hong Kong New Wave in 1982. This funky movie came out. It basically feels like a proto-Wong Kar-wai movie to me, with a Kenji Fukusaku style ending, which really makes it a one-of-a-kind experience. The bulk of the movie is down and gritty romantic material. We have some relatable family dynamics, and young people attracted to one another trying to get it on. That is essentially a Wong Kar-wai movie experience. The ending, however, is pure Bushido, and I have to say, while it does fit into the story, in terms of style, it is quite jarring, not in a good way either. It sticks out in a noticeable way that did not sit well with me. Perhaps the idea was to confront a juvenile sense of being, but that seems a little reactionary to me in what was otherwise a pretty cool movie, all in all. It might be proto-Wong Kar-wai, but it's certainly not better. It has slick moments, but it's not peak cinematic cool. It is not poorly done at all. Perhaps it is even ahead of its time. But we must look at it within the canon of Hong Kong cinema. Certainly check this one out if you're a fan of dramatic material for the region in this period. But watch it with the things in mind that I am saying, because I'm right about everything. So this played last Friday in New York, and I did enjoy it. But that ending did make me cut it down a notch. I think I was going to go for a 4.5 until that ending. Okay. Oh. So this movie, this film review I posted on, Wednesday, because I had my interview with Anshul, the director, and Shogun, the actor. So during TIFF 2017, the cinema of Hirokazu Korida was introduced to me in the form of his legal procedural movie, The Third Murder, which riveted me with his questioning of the integrity of the Japanese legal system. The idea that Japan had this incredibly good murder rate was actually something that was cooked up for diplomatic optics was unbelievable to me. So good. So when I learned of another movie that was out there that was similar, I was stoked. The Japanese legal procedural film December may not be Korida level of quality, but this topic is ripe with dramatic substance and lends itself to be good material. This is a drop in terms of quality, but still in the same arena. You can compare and contrast in a fun way, so for fans of dramatic movies, you really ought to check this one out. It poses some broader questions, less critically, but frames things more humanely. In The Third Murder, the main characters are detectives. In December, they are a separated married couple, dealing with their daughter's murder new trial. The killer's lawyers believe the sentencing is rapacious. Context is filled along the way that does not quite convince me personally that the killer had much of a case, certainly by Western standards, but it is fascinating to see how things work differently in the courtroom in Japan. And this played on Monday. There's Shogun, interviewed this dude. Yeah. Good movie. And next. What is it? I'm so excited. Vital Signs, oh yes. So, the movie coming from Hong Kong called Vital Signs, here's his Vital Sign, but whatever, is not bad with an emphasis on not that great. I found the lead character to be too stiff to identify with, or at least warm up to. His young daughter is incredibly sweet, and I identify with her whatever she was crying about him being no fun. It was as if she was representing everyone in the audience who would be bored by this guy, which I think is basically everybody. The movie looks at men exploring around, and our lead character is contrasted with a younger man who is an annoying opposite. Instead of being this boring by the book guy, he is a vapid careerist. They're contrasted, but no one comes through the middle besides the daughter, who doesn't really count in this men are professional storyline. So I was left cold while watching this. The movie looks fine, it is technically competent, and even the actors are fine. It is more of an issue of acting. The direction of the material, or even the concept itself, seems a little half-baked, to be honest. So that's the one I'm shitting on. Even though it's got the great Louis Koo in it. And here's the pictures. There he is, looking like a dullard. Look at this stoic dullard. There's his, the vapid careerist. He's contrasted with. There he's tripping near the end of the movie. And yeah, there's near the end of the movie, too. Aha. Now we go to Asian movies that only play Fantasia. And some of these were kind of surprised by. I was really surprised that this one didn't play at the New York Asian Film Festival. Anyways, there are reasons behind everything. Director Junta Yamaguchi's Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes was hysterical, according to me, and everyone I know who has seen it, except for one person. So there's plenty of hype for the follow-up. It's called River, and it deals once again with a 2-minute time loop that is both a good and bad thing in principle, but the result is fun. So I don't really care about the fact that it is a safe rehash for the director. As the saying go, if it isn't broken, then don't fix it. The concept is basically the same, but how things develop is different. Junta makes his premise a lot of frantically dialed up fun. In a way, it transcends this type of movie that goes beyond genre. Junta has found a way to make people in rooms talking a lot of existential fun for us. There are characters here that that are a little bit more interesting than Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. I'm still not going to say that this is just as good. The reveal is more emotionally sincere, but less funny. That's the trade-off we get here. But still, I find there are too many Asian comedies that too many Asian comedies that translate well overseas. That's why I'm celebrating this one, Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes, and other stuff like One Cut of the Dead. They feel specific, yet a bit more universal than other Asian comedies, I would say. Yeah. So, this is River. I don't have a series of pictures, but this is it. Definitely peep Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes, if all this sounds interesting and you haven't seen it. Next. Oh, yes. Okay. Next one is very, very good. The Filipino horror movie, In My Mother's Skin, really caught me off guard in the best possible way, for some reason. I thought it would just be fine, or even less than that, but I was engaged throughout the whole thing. It has jump scares and World War II traumatic memories to scare you. But it's a high amount of ambiance that we get here that makes the movie one to track down when it gets a general release, or a wider release. A malevolent ghost tempts a lonely girl with nice things, while unknowingly to her, she torments her and her family. It is the most vulnerable people who get the bad deal in life. And in this movie, too. There is a fair amount of violence sprinkled throughout here, but whenever we see the evil spirit dressed up as a fairy tale character on crystal meth, that's my interpretation, things get quite creepy. Her scenes get worse and worse, the harm is brutal, and there is a bit of Rosemary's Baby subjectivity angle, but not really. This deity of sorts is just creating a warped hellscape, but then again, it is also the early 1940s. We get a little political intrigue, but this is very much background exposition. While important, the focus is a house, the land surrounding it, and the people who come through to visit this family. Make sure you check this out. If you like horror movies, most certainly. Yeah, sick. So I saw this on Tuesday, the day I left. I brought my suitcase to the cinema. They were very kind. They snuck it away from me. And yeah, I played at Sundance. Somebody a friend of mine who a friend I made in Montreal saw this movie at Sundance, which is January. And yeah, there's the lady, the crystal meth fairy tale character. You can't get a great picture of her. Oh, there we go, right here, with the flower head and stuff. Okay, we got two more. Then I'm done. Okay. Devils. If you want to see some South Koreans do a riff on John Woo's Face Off, then your day has arrived. Devils is here for you to enjoy. It's not necessarily the most inspired movie, but it is a lot of fun. Instead of a face swap and mumbo jumbo that was done in John Woo's movie, you will see another way to do the same thing. The movie is still a good ride. It moves almost as nicely as South Korean movies like the serial killer movie I saw, The Devil, or the gangster movie, The Cop, the Gangster, and the Devil. So that's saying a lot. They really do have some wonderful genre movies coming from South Korea. I enjoyed this one without being much invested in its premise, and to a degree the emotions of the character, yet they propel the story forward. So they work more in a two-dimensional sense. We might not get a lot of emotional breadth, but there's a lot of ass-kicking and good times to be had here. So if you love John Woo movies, you'll most likely really like The Devils. Like Devils. Sorry, not The Devils. And pictures. We got another picture. Yeah, it played, was it yesterday? 2 days ago. And let's see the poster. There's the poster. Trapped in a murderer's body. We can expand this. There you go. And now we're done. We got one more another old school movie. Like Nomad. Alright. I love a good Suhark Wuxia production of Chinese ghost stories created on 35mm Fantasia Fest. Was one of my most anticipated of the festival. Alas, my expectations were set unrealistically high. Perhaps. The Suhark produced Burning Paradise was incredible, but it was directed by Ringo Lam. I love the Once Upon a Time in China movies, but they had Jet Li in them. With the Chinese ghost story, we basically get an Evil Dead-infused Wuxia comedy that has some great scenes, some weird scenes, and some frankly poorly done scenes. And having left the cinema, I left cohesively feeling like it was pretty good. It's just that Great Things was not realistic for me, knowing how weird comedic tones in Wuxia for me often are. It has taken me a while to appreciate the charm of this classic Dirty Hero, for example. Some of the special effects make you want to puke thinking about them. It is just so weird to see Chinese folklore mixed with Sam Raimi invented effects for Evil Dead. Think about the tree rape scene in Evil Dead, then mix that with a giant ton from an evil ghost chasing our villains. It is just a little too much of the senses, but when the movie does work, it is an awful lot of fun. And here we go. Let's get another picture. So I saw it on the 22nd, and then it played 2 days ago as well. So I think, we got another picture there. Chin Soo Tun is the director. Look at the fun poster. There it is. I said thank you to the man who provided us the 35mm prints, and now I want to thank you. I hope you check me out on Letterboxd, the Movie Mystic there, and movie_mystic on Twitter, Instagram. You even join the Facebook group, Mystic and Sphere. I hope you had fun today. That's about it for me. I'm out of here. Be well, guys. Have a nice day. Oh, that's nice.